The giant silver ship hung in the sky above New York City. It had been there for 3 days. People still stood in the streets to look up at it, even though their necks hurt. News reporters from all over the world crowded the streets. This was the moment humanity had waited for. First contact. Captain Olivia Martinez adjusted her uniform one last time before entering the meeting room. As the leader of the UEN Pathfinder, Earth's newest and most advanced spaceship, she had been chosen to meet the aliens face to face. Her heart beat fast, but her face stayed calm. "Ready, Captain?" asked John Cassidy, Earth's chief ambassador. He was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes that didn't match his serious mouth. "As ready as I'll ever be," Olivia said. She took a deep breath and nodded to the guards to open the door. The room inside was large and bright. 12 aliens stood around a round table. They looked almost human, but their skin had a slight blue tint, and their eyes were larger. These were the Exarilians, the first alien race to make contact with Earth. "Welcome to the first official meeting between Earth and the Galactic Union," said the tallest alien. His voice sounded strange through the translator. "I am High Commander Zextrol of the Exarilian Confederation, speaking for the Union today." Olivia stepped forward. "I am Captain Olivia Martins of the United Earth Nations. This is Ambassador John Cassidy. We come in peace and friendship." The aliens looked at each other. One of them made a sound that the translator didn't catch. It sounded like laughter. "We are pleased to meet you," said Zextrol. "The Galactic Union consists of 27 spacefaring civilizations. We have watched your planet for some time. Your recent advances in space travel have qualified you for contact." John Cassidy stepped forward. "We're honored. Humanity has dreamed of this moment for centuries." Another alien spoke up. This one was shorter, with darker blue skin. "You are a single-planet species, yes? You have no colonies on other worlds." "That's right," said Olivia. "We have small bases on Mars and the Moon, but nothing permanent yet." The aliens exchanged glances again. More of that untranslated laughter. "Interesting," said the dark blue alien. "Most species begin colonizing other worlds much earlier in their development. The Exarilians inhabit 12 planets. The Morse control 27. Even the Galthri, the newest full member of the Union before you, have established colonies on 4 worlds." Olivia felt her face get warm. "Earth is still our home. We're working on space travel technology." "Of course," said Zextrol, but his voice had a tone that didn't sound respectful. "A single-planet species, very unusual to survive this long without spreading out." The meeting continued for hours. The aliens explained the Galactic Union, its rules, and its benefits. They talked about trade, technology, and cultural exchange. But every few minutes, someone would mention Earth being a single-planet species in a way that made it sound like an insult. Later that night, in a private room, Earth's leaders gathered to discuss the meeting. "They look down on us," said Olivia, pacing the room. "They think we're primitive because we only live on one planet." John Cassidy nodded. "They've offered us protectorate status, not full membership in the Union." "What does that mean?" asked General Harris, the military representative. "It means they see us as children," John said. "They'll protect us, guide us, but we won't have equal standing." Olivia stopped pacing. "Should we accept? Do we have a choice?" asked the general. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours." John looked out the window at the giant ship hovering over the city. "They want to send an assessment team. Scientists to study Earth and humans. Maybe this is our chance to show them what humanity is really capable of." Olivia nodded slowly. "They mock us for living on just one planet. Let's show them what this one planet has taught us." 6 months passed. The giant alien ship had left, but now a smaller one took its place. This was the assessment team that the Galactic Union had promised to send. Lieutenant Daniel Wells stood at attention on the landing pad as the alien ship touched down. It was sleek and silver, shaped like a teardrop. The ship made almost no sound as it landed, just a slight hum that Daniel could feel in his chest more than hear with his ears. "Stand by," said the voice in his earpiece. "Alien visitors exiting ship in 30 seconds." Daniel straightened his uniform. He had been chosen to guide the aliens because he spoke 4 Earth languages and had a calm personality. His superiors told him he would need both skills for this job. A door opened in the side of the alien ship. 6 figures walked down a ramp that appeared beneath the door. They were different shapes and colors. The one in front was clearly Xerilian, with blue skin and large eyes. The others came from alien races that Daniel had only seen in pictures. "Welcome to Earth," Daniel said when they reached him. "I am Lieutenant Daniel Wells, your guide during your stay on our planet." The Xerilian stepped forward. "I am Kirvex, lead scientist for this assessment. These are my colleagues from other Union worlds." He pointed to each alien as he spoke their names, but Daniel knew he would need time to remember them all. "We are pleased to have you here," Daniel said. "Your quarters are ready. Would you like to rest before we begin the tour?" Kirvex looked at the sky, then at the ground. "No, we wish to begin immediately. Your world has unusual readings. The atmosphere is within acceptable parameters, but only barely." One of the other aliens, a short green one with 4 arms, spoke up. "The gravity is also stronger than comfortable." Daniel nodded. "We can provide assistance if needed. Earth might be different from what you're used to." Kirvex made a sound that might have been a laugh. "That is why we are here, Lieutenant, to see if your single planet is even viable long-term. Most species would have abandoned such harsh conditions centuries ago." Daniel kept his face neutral, but he felt a flash of anger. "Earth has been our home for thousands of years. We've adapted well to it." "Adaptation has limits," said Kirvex. "The Union has concerns about accepting members from such extreme worlds. Your people might not be able to function on more normal planets." The aliens followed Daniel to a large vehicle that would take them to their first destination. As they drove, the aliens looked out the windows with expressions Daniel couldn't read. "Where are we going first?" asked a tall, thin alien with skin that changed colors as it spoke. "The Central Government Building," Daniel said. "You'll meet with our leaders and discuss the assessment plan." Kirvex nodded. "We will need to see many different regions of your world. Our records show extreme variations in climate and conditions. Is this accurate?" "Yes," Daniel said. "Earth has many different environments. Deserts, oceans, mountains, forests, and more. And humans live in all these places." Asked the 4-armed alien. "We do. We've built homes and cities almost everywhere." The aliens spoke to each other in their own language for a moment. Daniel couldn't understand them, but their tone sounded surprised. Later, in the meeting room of the Central Government Building, Captain Olivia Martinez greeted the assessment team. She had been promoted since the first contact 6 months ago. "We've prepared an itinerary for your assessment," she said. "We'll show you everything Earth has to offer." Kirvex studied the map displayed on the wall. It showed their planned route across the planet. "This will take weeks," he said. "Is that a problem?" Olivia asked. "No," said Kirvex, "but I wonder if it is necessary. Most planets can be assessed in days." "Earth isn't most planets," Olivia said with a small smile. "You'll see." Kirvex looked at her with those large alien eyes. "Yes, we will. We will see if your single planet deserves a place among the stars." The desert stretched out in all directions. Sand, rocks, and sky. Nothing else. The air was hot and dry. Kirvex and the other aliens stood under a shade cover, but they still looked uncomfortable. "This is the Sahara Desert," Daniel explained, "one of the hottest and driest places on Earth." "And humans live here?" asked the 4-armed green alien, who Daniel had learned was named Grell. "We do," said a woman walking toward them. She wore light clothes and a hat that protected her face from the sun. "Welcome to Sahara Research Station 3. I'm Dr. Lisa Reyes." Kirvex stepped forward. "You choose to live in this wasteland. Why?" Dr. Reyes smiled. It's not a wasteland to us. Follow me. I'll show you what we do here. She led the group into a large building. Inside, it was cool and filled with plants. Green leaves and colorful flowers grew in neat rows. Water dripped through thin tubes to each plant. "This is impossible," said Curvex. "These plants should not grow in such conditions." "That's where you're wrong," said Dr. Reyes. "We've developed special technologies to grow food in the desert. We call it terraforming." "Terraforming?" asked one of the aliens. "That is for changing other planets to be like your own, or for making the harder parts of our own planet more livable." Dr. Rice said, "We've been doing it for centuries, just on a smaller scale." She showed them more rooms. One had fish swimming in tanks. Another had machines that pulled water from the air. A third room had screens showing weather patterns across the desert. 12,000 people live at this station," she explained. "We grow our own food, create our own water, and study the desert. The research we do here helps people all over the world." Curvex was taking notes on a small device. He looked more interested now, less dismissive. "On my world, we would simply leave such a harsh place, find somewhere more comfortable to live." "Humans adapt," Daniel said. "We change our surroundings when we can, and we change ourselves when we must." Outside, the wind began to pick up. A scientist rushed into the room. "Dr. Reyes, the sensors show a sandstorm approaching. A big one." Dr. Reyes turned to the aliens. "We need to move to the storm shelter. Now." "Is it dangerous?" asked Grell, looking worried. "It can be," Daniel said. "Desert storms can bury equipment and people under sand. They can also damage lungs if you breathe in too much sand." The aliens hurried with the humans to an underground shelter. Just as they reached it, the wind outside became a roar. Sand hit the windows like tiny bullets. "This happens often?" asked Curvex. "A few times a year," Dr. Rice said. "We're prepared for it." One of the aliens, a tall one with scales instead of skin, suddenly fell to the floor. It made choking sounds. "What's wrong?" Daniel asked, rushing to help. "Vental has special breathing needs," Curvex explained. "This dust in the air, it must be affecting her lungs." Dr. Reyes ran to a cabinet and pulled out a device. "This is a medical air filter. We use it for people with breathing problems." She handed it to Curvex, who looked at it suspiciously before placing it over Vental's face. The alien's breathing eased almost immediately. "You had this ready?" Curvex asked, surprised. "We prepare for emergencies," Dr. Rice said simply. "Living in extreme environments teaches you to be ready for anything." The storm raged outside for hours. During that time, the humans showed the aliens their emergency systems. They had food, water, and power that could last for weeks if needed. They had medical supplies for every possible problem. When the storm finally ended, they emerged to find the landscape changed. Sand dunes had shifted. Some equipment was buried. "We'll dig it out and continue our work," Dr. Rice said when she saw Curvex looking at the buried machines. "This is just part of desert life." Curvex was quiet for a moment before speaking. "Perhaps there is more to learn about living on one planet than I first thought." The submarine moved slowly through the dark water. Inside, the aliens pressed against the thick glass windows, looking out at a world none of them had ever seen before. "We are now 7 miles below the ocean surface," said Commander Frank Morris. "This is the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of Earth's oceans. The pressure here would crush any of our vessels," said Grell, the 4-armed alien. "How does your ship survive?" Commander Morris smiled. "Human engineering. We've been building deep-sea vehicles for over a century. This is our newest model." The submarine's lights showed strange fish swimming past. Some had huge teeth. Others glowed in the dark. One fish was completely clear, like it was made of glass. "Life exists even here?" asked Curvex, pressing his blue face against the window. "Life exists everywhere on Earth," Daniel said. From the highest mountains to the deepest oceans, the submarine docked at an underwater station built on the ocean floor. The aliens followed Commander Morris through a series of doors designed to keep the crushing water pressure out. "Welcome to Deep Station 1, said Commander Morris. 35 scientists and engineers live here year-round. They study ocean life and test new technologies. Inside the station, people worked at computers, looked through microscopes, and tended to tanks filled with deep-sea creatures. The station hummed with activity. You built this at the bottom of your ocean?" Kirvex asked, his large eyes wider than usual. "No other species in the Galactic Union has underwater colonies. The resources needed would be extreme." "We go where the science takes us," Commander Morris said. "Learning about our oceans helps us understand our planet." One of the aliens, a short purple one named Ziv, spoke up. "My species evolved in shallow seas. Even we would not survive at these depths. The pressure is too great. Humans can't survive here naturally either," Commander Morris explained. "We need this station and special suits if we go outside. But we adapt. We build what we need to explore." Suddenly, the lights flickered. A warning sound filled the air. "What's happening?" Daniel asked, looking around. "Pressure sensor alert," said Commander Morris, moving quickly to a control panel. "We might have a breach in Section 5. The aliens looked at each other in fear. At this depth, a breach could mean death for everyone in the station. Commander Morris called to his team over the station speakers. "All personnel, we have a pressure alert in Section 5. Engage emergency protocols." People moved quickly but calmly. Some closed doors between sections of the station. Others checked equipment and computers. "Is it dangerous?" Kirvex asked Daniel quietly. "Yes," Daniel answered honestly. "But the station has many safety systems." A young engineer ran up to Commander Morris. "Sir, the main seal in Section 5 is failing. The backup system isn't responding." Commander Morris turned to the aliens. "I need to handle this. Please stay here where it's safe." He and the engineer hurried away. The aliens watched nervously as station crew members moved around them, working to solve the problem. "Your people live with this danger all the time?" asked Grell. "When you explore extreme places, there are always risks," Daniel said. 15 tense minutes passed. Then Commander Morris returned, looking tired but relieved. "The problem is fixed," he said. "One of our engineers built a temporary seal using equipment from the science lab." "Very creative thinking." "You were not afraid?" Kirvex asked. "Fear doesn't help in an emergency," Commander Morris said. "Action does." Later, as they toured the rest of the station, Daniel noticed that Kirvex was unusually quiet. When they reached the research lab where scientists studied deep-sea creatures that could survive extreme pressure, the alien scientist finally spoke. "Lieutenant Wells," Kirvex said quietly so only Daniel could hear, "I must admit something. When we arrived on Earth, I thought humans were primitive for living on only one planet. But now I see you live in environments more extreme than some alien homeworlds." Daniel smiled. "Earth has taught us to be adaptable. When you have only one home, you learn to live in every part of it." Kirvex nodded slowly. "Perhaps there is wisdom in that approach. I have much to think about." The helicopter flew between tall mountain peaks. Snow covered everything in sight. The air was thin here, near the top of the world. "These are the Himalayas," Daniel explained to the aliens. "Some of the highest mountains on Earth." "And humans live here too?" asked Ziv, the purple alien. "Yes," Daniel said. "For thousands of years, people have made homes in these mountains." The helicopter landed on a flat area near a group of buildings. People in warm clothes came out to meet them. The aliens stepped out and immediately started breathing harder. "The air is very thin," Kirvex said, reaching for a breathing device. "You'll get used to it," said an older woman who approached the group. "I'm Dr. Helen Rivera. Welcome to Mountain Research Center." She led them inside a warm building. Maps and pictures of the mountains covered the walls. Through the windows, they could see snow and ice stretching into the distance. People have lived in these mountains for over 20,000 years, Dr. Rivera explained. They adapted to the thin air and cold temperatures. Their bodies changed over time to survive here. Changed how? Asked Curvex, looking interested. Their lungs work better in thin air. Their blood carries oxygen more efficiently, Dr. Rivera said. It's a perfect example of human adaptation. After touring the Mountain Research Center, the group flew to a very different place. The helicopter descended toward a huge city. Buildings stretched as far as they could see in all directions. Millions of lights shined like stars. Tokyo, Daniel said, one of Earth's largest cities. Over 37 million people live in this urban area. So many in such a small space, Grill said, sounding amazed. How do they not fight each other? The helicopter landed on top of a tall building. A young woman met them there. Welcome to Tokyo, she said. I'm Angela Scott, urban planning expert. I'll show you how humans live in big cities. For the next few hours, Angela led them through the massive city. They saw underground train systems that moved millions of people every day. They visited apartment buildings where families lived in small but efficient spaces. They toured vertical farms where food grew inside tall buildings. We build up, not out, Angela explained as they looked down from an observation deck. When land is limited, we find ways to use every inch. Your people are very close together, said one of the aliens. On my world, each person needs much more space. Humans are social, Angela said. We've learned to live together, to share resources and space. Later, they visited a city control center where workers monitored traffic, power usage, and water systems. Everything in a city this size must be carefully managed, Angela explained. It's like a living organism that we must keep healthy. As they watched the city lights come on at sunset, Curvex spoke to the other aliens in their own language. Daniel couldn't understand the words, but the tone sounded like an argument. Is everything okay? Daniel asked when they finished. We have different opinions about your planet, Curvex said. Some of my colleagues think humans are too adaptable. Too adaptable, Daniel asked. How can that be bad? Curvex looked uncomfortable. Species that can survive anywhere sometimes expand too much. It concerns some members of the Galactic Union. Before Daniel could ask more questions, his communication device beeped. He listened to the message, then turned to the group. There's news from the Galactic Union, he said. They're still debating Earth's status. They want the assessment team to continue the tour while they make their decision. What does that mean? Angela asked. It means some in the Union are arguing against us, Daniel said quietly. They might not want Earth to join at all. Curvex looked at Daniel with his large eyes. The assessment is not over yet, Lieutenant Wells. There is still much to see. And much to learn, Daniel added. Curvex nodded slowly. Yes, much to learn indeed. The assessment team's trip was interrupted by an urgent call. Daniel answered his communication device while they were having breakfast in their hotel. Lieutenant Wells speaking, he said. His face grew serious as he listened. Yes, sir. We'll leave right away. He turned to the aliens and Captain Martinez, who had joined them the day before. There's an emergency at Arctic Research Station 4. A storm damaged part of the station, and people are trapped. They need help. We should continue our assessment elsewhere, said one of the aliens, a tall one with gray skin. This is not our concern. Curvex surprised everyone by speaking up. No, we should go. This may be the most important part of our assessment yet. Captain Martinez nodded. A rescue plane is waiting for us. We need to hurry. 4 hours later, they were flying through a snowstorm. The wind shook the plane. Outside, everything was white. The aliens looked nervous. These conditions are extremely dangerous, Grell said. No one should live in such a place. Arctic research is important, Captain Martinez explained. It helps us understand our planet's climate. The plane landed on an ice runway. The wind was so strong that Daniel had to lean forward to walk. The temperature was far below freezing. The aliens followed the humans into a small building where people were gathering for the rescue. A man in a thick coat approached them. "I'm Dr. William Garcia, Station Director. Thank you for coming so quickly." "What happened?" Captain Martinez asked. "A section of the outer wall collapsed during the storm," Dr. Garcia explained. 5 researchers are trapped in the climate lab. The temperature is dropping fast inside. We need to reach them before their emergency heat supply runs out. "How long do they have?" Daniel asked. 3 hours, maybe less, Dr. Garcia said. "We have the equipment to fix the wall, but the storm makes it almost impossible to reach them." Captain Martinez looked at the aliens. "You don't have to come. This will be dangerous." "I will come," Curvex said immediately. "I want to see how humans handle this crisis." Grill and Ziv also volunteered. The other aliens stayed behind. The rescue team put on special suits that protected them from the cold. They gave similar suits to the aliens. "These will keep you warm," Dr. Garcia explained. "But be careful. The wind is strong enough to knock you down." They left the building in a line, connected by safety ropes. The storm was worse now. Ice crystals hit their faces like tiny needles. They could barely see a few feet ahead. "How far to the lab?" Curvex shouted over the wind. "Half a mile," Dr. Garcia answered. "Normally an easy walk, but not in this storm." They moved slowly through the snow. The wind pushed against them like a living thing. Halfway there, Grell slipped and fell. The alien tried to stand but couldn't. "My legs won't work in this cold," Grell said, voice shaking. "You should leave me." "That's not how we do things," Dr. Garcia said. He and Daniel lifted Grell between them. "No one gets left behind." They continued, now moving even slower. When they finally reached the damaged lab, they found a large hole in the wall. Snow was piling up inside. The 5 researchers were huddled in the center of the room, wrapped in emergency blankets. "Medical team, check the researchers," Dr. Garcia ordered. "Engineering team, start repairs." Everyone moved quickly. The humans worked together without confusion. Each person knew exactly what to do. Within an hour, they had sealed the hole temporarily and stabilized the injured researchers. "We need to get everyone back to the main station," Dr. Garcia said. "The storm is getting worse." The return journey was even harder. Ziv also began to struggle with the cold. Without asking, a human researcher lifted the small alien onto his back and carried him. Back at the main station, as the medical team treated the rescued researchers and the aliens warmed up, Curvex approached Captain Martinez. "I have seen many things on your planet," the alien said, "but nothing as impressive as this. In conditions that would kill most species, your people risked their lives to save others." "That's what humans do," Captain Martinez said simply. "We take care of each other." Curvex was quiet for a moment. "I think I finally understand why you stayed on one planet for so long." The assessment team returned to space. Their ship orbited Earth while they prepared their final report. Through the large windows, they could see the blue and green planet turning slowly below them. Curvex sat in a meeting room with the other aliens. They had been arguing for hours. Daniel and Captain Martinez waited outside, unable to hear what was being said. "The decision is not simple," Grell said to Curvex. "Humans are more adaptable than we expected." "That is exactly why they should join the Galactic Union," Curvex replied. "Think of what they could teach us." The tall gray alien named Vornak shook his head. "That is exactly why they should not join. They are too unpredictable. They live in conditions that would kill most species. What if they decided to take over worlds that other species cannot survive on?" "They saved your life in the Arctic," Curvex reminded him. "They did not have to help us." "One act of kindness does not prove they will always be peaceful," Vornak argued. The debate continued until a message arrived from the Galactic Union Council. They would make their final decision tomorrow. The assessment team needed to present their findings immediately. Outside the meeting room, Daniel paced back and forth. "What do you think they're deciding in there?" he asked Captain Martinez. "Whether Earth deserves to join their club," she said. "Whether humans are worth knowing." The door opened. Curvex looked tired but determined. "We will return to the Galactic Union headquarters. You will come with us to make a final presentation." "Did you reach a decision?" Daniel asked. "We are divided," Curvex admitted. "But the final choice belongs to the Council." The next day, Daniel and Captain Martinez stood before the full Galactic Union Council. Representatives from all 27 member species sat in a large semicircle. Their ship had docked with the massive Union headquarters that orbited a distant star. "Humans of Earth," said the Council leader, a tall being with silvery skin. "We have reviewed the assessment team's initial reports. Now we will hear your final statement before making our decision." Captain Martinez stepped forward. "Thank you for considering Earth for membership, Lieutenant Wells, and I would like to show you something." She activated a device that projected images around the room. The council members saw deserts, oceans, mountains, cities, and forests. They saw humans living and working in every environment Earth had to offer. "When your representatives first contacted us," Captain Martinez said, "they mocked us for living on just one planet. They thought it made us weak or primitive." Daniel continued, "But living on one planet didn't limit us. It challenged us. It forced us to adapt to every environment Earth has. Instead of abandoning difficult places and finding easier ones, we learned to thrive everywhere." Captain Martinez showed more images. "Earth has more climate variations than any 5 Union worlds combined. We have the hottest deserts and the coldest ice fields. We have the highest mountains and the deepest oceans. And humans live in all these places," asked a council member in disbelief. "We do," Daniel said, "because Earth is our home. All of it. We didn't spread out to other planets because we were busy mastering our own." Curvex stood up from his seat with the assessment team. "Council members, I must speak. When I first went to Earth, I thought humans were primitive for living on one world. I was wrong. They are the most adaptable species I have ever encountered. They do not need multiple planets because they have learned to live in environments more extreme than most of our homeworlds. This adaptability could make them dangerous," argued Vornak. "Or it could make them valuable allies," Curvex countered. "They saved members of our team in conditions that would have killed us. They showed compassion when they could have let us die." The council leader raised a hand for silence. "We have heard enough. We will make our decision now." As the council members talked quietly among themselves, Daniel looked at Captain Martinez. "Do you think they'll accept us?" he whispered. "I don't know," she said. "But whatever they decide, Earth will continue to be our home. And we will continue to protect it, and everyone who lives there." The great hall of the Galactic Union Council fell silent. All eyes turned to the council leader as she stood to announce their decision. Daniel felt his heart beating fast. Captain Martinez stood tall beside him, her face calm but her hands slightly shaking. "We have reached our decision regarding Earth's application to the Galactic Union," the council leader said, her voice echoing in the large room. Daniel held his breath. The future of Earth might depend on what she said next. "In all the history of the Galactic Union, we have never encountered a species quite like humans," the council leader continued. "You have presented us with a unique situation." Curvex moved closer to Daniel and Captain Martinez, as if showing his support. "Some council members argued that your adaptability makes you unpredictable, possibly dangerous," the council leader said. "Others argued that your resourcefulness and compassion would make you valuable allies." She paused, looking at each council member before continuing. "We have decided to accept Earth as a full member of the Galactic Union, with all rights and responsibilities." Daniel let out the breath he had been holding. Captain Martinez smiled, the first real smile he had seen from her in days. "The evidence presented by scientist Curvex was most compelling," the council leader explained. "Humans have shown not only remarkable adaptability, but also a willingness to help others even at risk to themselves. These are qualities the Union values. Cheers erupted from a human delegation that had been watching from a side chamber. The aliens around the room made various sounds that Daniel guessed were also expressions of approval. "There will be a formal ceremony tomorrow," the council leader said. "For now, we welcome Earth to the stars." After the announcement, Daniel found Curvex waiting in a quiet corner. "Thank you," Daniel said. "You helped change their minds." Curvex's large eyes blinked slowly. "I only told the truth. My people have 20 colony worlds, but none of them present the challenges that Earth does. We spread out to find comfortable places. You stayed and mastered a difficult one." "What happens now?" Daniel asked. "Now Earth joins the Union," Curvex said. "You will share your adaptation technologies with us, and we will share our space travel technology with you. Together, we will all become stronger." 6 months later, a special ceremony took place in New York City, the same place where the aliens had first arrived on Earth. Now they came as friends and partners, not as judges. Daniel stood with Captain Martinez and the Earth leadership as Curvex, and the council leader presented Earth with the official Union membership seal. "Today marks a new chapter for both Earth and the Galactic Union," the council leader announced to the crowd. "We have much to learn from each other." Later, at a celebration dinner, Curvex approached Captain Martinez. He was wearing formal Xerelian clothes and a new pin that identified him as the first Union ambassador to Earth. "Captain Martinez," he said, "I owe you an apology." "For what?" she asked. "When we first met, my people mocked humans for living on just one planet. We thought it made you primitive." He looked out the window at the city lights. "Now I understand why you stayed on Earth for so long." "Why do you think we stayed?" she asked. Curvex turned back to her. "You weren't trapped on Earth. You were perfecting it. You were learning to live in harmony with every part of your world before reaching for others." Captain Martinez smiled. "And now? Now you will help us do the same," Curvex said. Already, Union scientists are studying Earth's environments. 3 species have asked for help adapting to difficult parts of their homeworlds instead of abandoning them. Daniel joined them by the window. So living on one planet wasn't so primitive after all. "Not primitive," Curvex said. "Advanced in a way we didn't recognize. Sometimes the hardest path teaches the most important lessons." Outside, the stars shined brightly in the night sky. Earth was no longer alone in the universe, and the universe was better for it.